The three words I would use to describe Ira Berman are wise, trusted advisor.
Ira is someone who is engaged. He thinks about the employees. He thinks about the community.
I would describe Ira as very smart, very helpful, and very welcoming.
I think Ira is just a real caring individual.
Born and raised in northern New Jersey. Spent a lot of time in New York City growing up. My dad worked in New York City, still does. I thought going to be a lifetime New Yorker, but after about 15 years, found myself taking a job at Gulfstream in Savannah.
In 2006, we started a long-term strategic plan, of which Ira was a big part of, because we needed to expand our facilities.
We hadn't built a new factory building since the 1960s.
And I remember having a meeting and people were kind of looking around the room thinking, real estate development, who has responsibility for real estate development? Because we didn't do it, we hadn't had any. And they're all looking around the room, and then everybody's eyes sort of ended up on me because I had facilities. And at the time, facilities was taking out the trash and fixing the air conditioning. They all looked at me and said, "No, it's not me. It's Ira. Ira has real estate," and I did. So I embarked on creating a real estate department. From 2005 until now, we've been building buildings in Savannah and all over the country and the world.
We invested billions of dollars in growing the facilities and the employee base. It's exciting because we've gone from building one airplane when I started to building 6 today.
Ira's best leadership achievements at Gulfstream are absolutely what he's been able to do with real estate. I would also add what he's been able to do in building an organization, supporting the community. And through that, we've been able to develop tremendous network of programs, from employee volunteer programs to a number of different programs with the Chatham County School System, with Savannah Tech, and a host of others that he's championed.
It became clear to me and to others at Gulfstream that United Way was where, if you will, where the action was.
We'd always gotten a corporate gift. It was about 40% of what the employees gave. But with Ira's leadership, he kind of led the way to where it went to a 100% match. And that was something that was almost unheard of at the time and just helped thousands of individuals in the community. He was really the perfect board chair. He gave just the right amount of guidance. One of those people that when Ira spoke up, everybody listened.
I ended up joining probably 3 or 4 different boards at times that were critical turning points in the development of those particular organizations.
And he did that because that's who Ira is. Right? Ira is a very charitable person, so is Helen. And so that was his natural place in the community.
Before Ira made such an impact at Gulfstream and in Savannah, his earlier goals were to soar with the stars, but not in aviation. It began with his parents.
My parents had my sister and I take piano lessons, starting when I was 4, she was 5. Being dutiful parents, they schlepped me into the Juilliard to be tested when the local piano teacher thought maybe I was better than her other local students. And so I played before a jury of 12 Juilliard experts. And then they delivered a report. And of the 12 experts at Juilliard, 2 said that perhaps they saw a slight spark of talent, and the other 10 saw none whatsoever. So I have evidence for the fact that I don't have any talent. I did get pretty involved in theater. And so for many years, my career goal was to be a director of an arts organization. Actually, my father, who saves everything, produced the program from a 5th grade production of Macbeth.
And he was in the play with James Gandolfini, who played Tony Soprano.
I played Macduff, and Jim Gandolfini played Macbeth. We had a sword fight where we missed each other and hit each other in the face and had to keep acting. We weren't paid. So I guess it goes back to 5th grade, but high school is where we really got interested. It was a production of Kiss Me Kate. He, of course, had the lead. I was one of the gangsters.
I know he's been to the Met numerous occasions to see operas.
My mother was the one who got me interested in the opera. That also kind of kicked in around towards the end of high school. But by the time I got back to New York for law school, I was an opera fanatic. My idea originally was, when going to law school, to stick with the relationship with the arts and become an entertainment lawyer. I quickly discovered that in entertainment law, what the clients do is really, really interesting, and what the lawyers do is awful. So I decided I didn't want to be an entertainment lawyer. What the lawyers do is basically there's $1 in the middle of the table, and one side's going to get it, and the other side isn't, and it's just horrible.
He and Helen were in law school together.
I believe that they knew each other through her sister and through mutual friends, and they had seen or met each other on occasion.
And they graduated, went to work for competing firms, and those two firms ended up merging.
I understand their first date was at an opera in New York.
I invited her to an opera, is what I did. Charpentier's Medea at Brooklyn Academy of Music. That was our first date.
When I think of Ira and Helen, I think of fantastic partnership.
Ira's a great family man. I think he believes in the morals of doing the right thing for children.
Ira and Helen adopted 2 lovely girls, Annie and Polly. Polly's the older of the 2.
Quite evident to me how proud he is as a dad.
When the girls were here in school, he was very involved in their activities at school, with the teachers. He was always there.
They're grown now, and they're both in Tulane University. The oldest one is actually a third-year law student. Ira told me she wants to be a federal prosecutor. If she's got the same kind of grit and determination as Ira, I wouldn't want to be any of those criminals she's going after.
Ira is what I would describe as a learned man. It's a term not used as much these days, but he is very much a learned man.
As a leader of Gulfstream, I use Ira as a great sounding board.
Typically, I would say he's the smartest person in the room.
And then he has this unique compassion for the community, for our employees, and all of that.
The leaders in the community recognize how much he has positively impacted this community, and he's done it in such a way that unless you're looking behind the scenes, you don't see it.
And when I asked Ira what he wanted to be remembered for, it was really kind of a simple and straightforward answer. He considers himself a kind person and would just like to be known for that, and someone who leaves things better.
What drives me through my day is thinking about what a successful company can do for its employees and for the community.
Ira Berman is a laureate in the Junior Achievement Savannah Business Hall of Fame.